straight line passes through points A, -3, 8, and B, 3, -4. Find the equation of the straight line through point 3, 4 and parallel to AB. Give the answer in the form y is equals to mx plus c and c is a constant. So solution. So we have two lines. The first line, this is line AB. That is line AB. And the points are -3, 8 and 3, -4. We have another line that is parallel to that line AB, and this line is passing through 3.34. So we can call the gradient of this line M1, that is the gradient. Then the gradient of this line, we can call it M2. Gradient. These are, we can call this one line 1, that is line 1, this one is line 2. So these two lines are parallel. So one thing you're supposed to note about parallel lines, note that parallel lines have equal gradients. Therefore, M1 should be equal to M2. So we begin by calculating the gradient of line 1. So let's calculate the gradient of line 1. So gradient of line 1, gradient is given by change in y over the change in x. So we're going to label this one as x1, this is y1. This one is x2, this is y2. So the gradient therefore will be given by change in y, y2 minus y1 over change in x, x2 minus x1. And this one will give us, if we substitute these values, we have -4 minus 8 divided by 3 subtract 3, which will give us, this one will give us -12 divided by 6, and therefore the gradient of M1 will be -2. Now since we've said that M1 is equals to M2, therefore M2, the gradient of line 2, should also be -2. Now we can proceed and find the equation of this line. Now we know that the equation has a gradient of -2 and it is passing through the point 3, 4. So for us to get the equation of this line, we have to introduce another point and call that point xy. So we can use this point now to get our gradient. So remember how we denoted this one x1, can denote this one as x1, this one as x1, y1, x2, y2. So if we get the gradient of this line, we should be able to get -2. So the gradient will be y minus 4 change in y over change in x, x minus 3 is equals to -2. Now when we solve this equation, we'll be able to obtain the required equation of that line. So to get this, we can cross multiply. We take -2, get -2 multiply by x minus 3 is equals to y minus 4. This one should give us -2x plus 6 is equals to y minus 4. We can take this one to this side so that we have y is equals to -2x plus 10. So that is the required equation, and the equation is in the form y is equals to mx plus c. So that is how we are supposed to solve that question. The equation of a line is negative 3x plus 3y is equals to 6. Find A, the gradient of the line, B, the equation of a line passing through point 1, 2, and perpendicular to the given line. So we start with the first part, the gradient, calculating the gradient of the line. So for us to calculate the gradient, we have to write this equation in the general format of an equation of a line. The general format of an equation of a straight line is given as y is equals to mx plus c. So we have to rewrite this equation in this format. So we can begin. So we have negative 3 over 5x plus 3y is equals to 6. So we can multiply all through by 5. We can multiply this one by 5, this one by 5, and this one by 5. And this one will give us negative 3x plus 15y is equals to 30. So we take this one to this side. We get 15y is equals to 30 plus 3x. Then we divide all through, we divide by 15. Can divide this one by 15, by 15, by 15. And this one will give us y is equals to, this one will give us 2 plus 1 over 5x. So you can see now, this one is, we have written this one in a format of a general equation of a straight line. You can rearrange it to get y is equals to, so you can get this one as y is equals to 1 over 5x plus 2. So now we can be able to identify the gradient, since the gradient is denoted by, this is the gradient, the coefficient of x. The gradient is the coefficient of x, and the coefficient of x in this case is that. So the gradient or m is given as 1 over 5. So we have solved the first part. Now let's go to the second part. The second part of the question, we are told the equation of a line passes through point 1, 2 and is perpendicular to the given line. So we are supposed to get the equation of another line that will be perpendicular to the first line that we have just calculated the gradient and got 1 over 5. So when two lines are perpendicular, when two lines are perpendicular to one another, the product of their gradient is negative 1. Meaning, when I take, if I say this one is my first gradient, which I may call this one m1, and these are the gradient of this line that is passing through point 1, 2 is m2. If I take m1 times m2, I should get negative 1. So the first gradient is 1 over 5. If I multiply with the gradient of m2 is the gradient of this line passing through point 1, 2, then it should give me negative 1. Therefore, m2, the gradient of that line, will be negative 5. We multiply both sides by 5. So now we have the point 1, 2, and the gradient is negative 5. So we find the equation of this line, which has gradient of negative 5 and is passing through point 1, 2. So what you're going to do, we have to introduce another point, that is point 1, 2. Let me see. So this is point 1, 2, we have to introduce another point xy for us to get the equation of that line. Then the gradient, since you know the gradient is -5, how do we get the gradient? Change in y, which is y minus 2, divided by x, change in x, which will give us -5. So this stage we can cross multiply. Where we're going to take -5 multiplied by x minus 1 is equals to y minus 2. So this one will give us -5x plus 5 is equals to y minus 2. So we can take this one to this side. We can take this one to this side so that we have y is equals to -5x plus 7. And that is the equation of the line. That is the equation of the line passing through point 1, 2, and it is perpendicular to this line that we got, or this line that we are given here. So that is how you're supposed to work out that question, gradient.